Good morning, dear students. In today's lecture, we will cover remaining portion of corticosteroids. That means pharmacokinetics, therapeutic uses, adverse effects, precautions, and contraindications of corticosteroids. Pharmacokinetics. Glucocorticoids given by various routes like oral, intramuscular, intravenous, and topical. Hydrocortisone undergoes high first pass metabolism and therefore it must be given by parenteral route. Oral bioavailability of synthetic corticosteroids is high. Both endogenous and therapeutically administered glucocorticoids are bound to specific protein that is known as corticosteroid binding globulin. Synthetic steroids have undergo reduction in liver to active compounds. They are metabolized in liver and excreted in urine. Exogenously administered hydrocortisone has plasma half-life of about 1.5 hours. Steroid preparations. An ideal glucocorticoid should have no mineralocorticoid activity. Structural changes to the basic cortisol molecule resulted in a number of compounds with minimal mineralocorticoid activity, greater potency, as well as longer duration of action. These are some important agents: injectable betamethasone, dexamethasone; orally betamethasone, prednisolone, methylprednisolone; topical betamethasone, clobetasol; inhalational beclomethasone, budesonide, etc. You can see here relative activity of various corticosteroids. Hydrocortisone is a shorter acting corticosteroid having similar glucocorticoid and mineralocorticoid activity. Prednisolone and methylprednisolone are intermediately acting corticosteroids having more glucocorticoid activity as compared to mineralocorticoid activity. Triamcinolone is another intermediately acting corticosteroids having more glucocorticoid activity and almost nil mineralocorticoid activity. Dexamethasone and betamethasone are longer acting corticosteroids having only profound glucocorticoid activity while no mineralocorticoid activity. Aldosterone and desoxycortisone acetate, or also known as DOCA, are mineralocorticoid and having maximum mineralocorticoid activity and almost nil glucocorticoid activity. Let us see therapeutic uses of corticosteroids. A number of disease states respond to glucocorticoids. Physiological doses of corticosteroids are used for replacement therapy in primary and secondary adrenal insufficiency such as Addison's disease. Supraphysiological doses are used for their anti-inflammatory effects in conditions like arthritis, asthma, and inflammatory bowel diseases. In organ transplant patients and those with autoimmune disorders, corticosteroids are used for their immunosuppressive effects. Replacement therapy. Adrenal insufficiency may be acute or chronic in nature. That is because of abrupt withdrawal of steroid therapy, chronic infections like tuberculosis, autoimmune adrenal diseases, surgery, hemorrhage, and AIDS, or congenital adrenal hyperplasia, that is because of deficiency of 21 hydroxylase enzyme. Replacement therapy treatment schedule. In case of acute adrenal insufficiency, intravenous replacement of fluid including 0.9% sodium chloride and 5% dextrose. Intravenous hydrocortisone 100 mg state followed by 100 mg every 8 hourly. Alternatively, dexamethasone can be used. In case of chronic adrenal insufficiency, hydrocortisone, prednisolone or dexamethasone along with fludrocortisone for mineralocorticoid effects. In case of congenital adrenal hyperplasia, hydrocortisone 0.6 mg per kilogram in divided doses to maintain feedback suppression is given. Anti-inflammatory uses of steroids. Steroids are used for suppression of inflammatory components in rheumatoid arthritis as an adjuvant with non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs in severe cases. Osteoarthritis can be given by intra-articular injection along with non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. Rheumatic fever, severe cases with carditis and congestive heart failure, steroids are to be given. In case of gout, particularly cases which are not effectively treated with non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs as well as colchicine, intra-articular injection of steroids can be used. In case of vasculitic disorders like polyarthritis nodosa, steroids are useful. You can see here intra-articular route of administration of steroids in case of knee joint pain, shoulder joint pain, tennis elbow as well as carpal tunnel syndrome. Another use of steroids in autoimmune diseases like autoimmune hemolytic anemia, idiopathic thrombocytopenic purpura, that is known as ITP, active chronic hepatitis, alcoholic hepatitis, and in such conditions prednisolone 1 to 2 mg per kilogram per day given till remission followed by gradual withdrawal or low dose maintenance therapy. In case of renal diseases like nephrotic syndrome, renal disease secondary to SLE, renal sarcoidosis, and glomerulonephritis, steroids are first line treatment for treating nephrotic syndrome. Initial daily dose of prednisolone 1 to 2 mg per kilogram for 6 weeks followed by gradual tapering of the dose over 6 to 8 weeks. In case of organ transplantation, steroids are to be combined with other immunosuppressants like cyclosporine, azathioprine, etc. For prolonged use, prednisolone or methylprednisolone are to be used because of its intermediate duration of action. So, it can be easily tapered as well as can be converted to an alternate regime. In allergic disorders, corticosteroids exhibit a delayed response in allergies. Even after intravenous injection, it takes 1 to 2 hours. Therefore, in case of anaphylaxis, angioneurotic edema, and serum sickness, etc., adrenaline is the drug of choice. Corticosteroids are to be used as supplements to suppress allergic reactions in case of seasonal allergies, bee sting, as well as drug allergies. Intranasal spray of budesonide and flunisolide available for treatment of allergic rhinitis. Bronchial asthma. Now it is clear that involvement of immunological and inflammatory reactions in the pathology of bronchial asthma, corticosteroids play an important role in the management of bronchial asthma. In case of severe asthmatic attack or status asthmaticus, IV hydrocortisone is preferred followed by oral prednisolone. While in case of acute attack of asthma, inhalational steroids like beclomethasone, budesonide, flunisolide, either alone or in combination with beta-2 agonists or ipratropium bromide are preferred, followed by oral corticosteroids. Infectious diseases. Corticosteroids are indicated only in severe infective diseases to tide over crisis or to prevent some complications. Following are the conditions in which corticosteroids are preferred. Number 1, aids in pneumocystitis girovecii pneumonia. Second, in Haemophilus influenza meningitis to reduce neurological complications. Third, tubercular meningitis. Fourth, lepra reactions. Fifth, septicemia. And in my previous lecture, I told you regarding the use of corticosteroids in the current pandemic situation COVID-19 also. Ocular diseases. Steroids are used for suppressing inflammation in eye and for preservation of sight. Topical instillations are used for conditions of the anterior chamber like allergic conjunctivitis, iritis, iridocyclitis and keratitis. Systemic steroids are used for posterior chamber infections. Examples like dexamethasone topical 0.1%, prednisolone oral. Steroids are contraindicated in viral, fulminating bacterial infections, fungal infections and injuries. Skin diseases. Steroids are most commonly used in various skin disorders. Topical forms are widely used in many eczematous skin diseases, while systemic therapy are also required and may be life-saving in conditions like pemphigus vulgaris, exfoliative dermatitis, Stevens-Johnson syndrome. Gastrointestinal tract. Steroids are used for various inflammatory conditions of intestine like ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease, celiac disease. Various oral steroids are used and retention enema also used with hydrocortisone. One of the disadvantages of using steroids in these inflammatory conditions of intestine that they may mask the major complications like perforation and peritonitis. Malignancy. Chemotherapy is one of the important part of therapy in management of various malignancy. Steroids are essential with chemotherapy in following particular malignancies like acute lymphatic leukemia, Hodgkin's and other lymphomas, hormone responsive breast carcinoma. Steroids provide symptomatic relief in advanced malignancies by improving appetite and controlling secondary hypercalcemia. Cerebral edema. Use of steroids in cerebral edema due to tumors or neoplasms is justified. Dexamethasone or betamethasone is preferred because they have no sodium retaining activity. Other CNS conditions like spinal cord injury, Bell's palsy and neurocysticercosis. In these conditions, oral prednisolone is preferred. Other uses of steroids as an antiemetic but with ondansetron in case of acute mountain sickness, aspiration pneumonia, pulmonary edema from drowning and in case of hyperthyroidism particularly for thyroid storm. Adverse effects of steroids. Two types of adverse effects are appeared because of steroid therapy. First, because of abrupt withdrawal of steroids. Second, chronic therapeutic use of high dose of steroids. First, withdrawal that lead to flare up of the underlying disease, suppression of HPA axis and acute adrenal insufficiency. They lead to increased intracranial tension and causes papilloedema. In this picture, you can see various side effects of steroids like increased blood glucose level, increased blood pressure, vertigo, blurring of vision, menstrual irregularities, hirsutism, depression, cognitive impairment, emotional instability as well as easy fatigability. So important adverse effects of steroids can be listed here: fluid and electrolyte disturbance because of sodium and water retention, precipitation of diabetes mellitus because of the increased blood glucose level that lead to hyperglycemia, increased susceptibility to infections because of the immune response suppression. It lead to peptic ulceration and lead to bleeding and perforation. Osteoporosis, osteonecrosis because of avascular necrosis of head of femur, humerus, etc. Myopathy because of the weakness of muscles. It lead to posterior subcapsular cataract. On prolonged topical therapy, it lead to glaucoma, and in children they lead to growth retardation. Contraindications for the use of steroids. Steroids are life-saving drugs and therefore its use must be very judicious. Following are the conditions where we have to take extreme precautions, like peptic ulcer, hypertension and diabetes mellitus, viral and fungal infections, tuberculosis, osteoporosis, epilepsy, psychosis, congestive heart failure and renal failure. Choosing a steroid. Selection of a steroid is based on benefit versus risk ratio. Drugs with primary glucocorticoid activity are used. Minimal dose to achieve the desired effect is chosen. Topical or local therapy is preferred whenever possible over systemic therapy. In continuation of choosing a steroid, once daily dosing is usually preferred for oral glucocorticoids. Large steroid doses are administered in divided doses to reduce local gastrointestinal tract side effects. In order to mimic the normal diurnal cycle and reduce the risk of adrenal suppression, glucocorticoids should be given in the morning between 6 to 10 am. Alternate day therapy allows the HPA axis to recover on off days. Steroid therapy withdrawal. Taper the dose to reduce glucocorticoid dose by 2.5 to 5 mg of prednisolone equivalent daily. Once the glucocorticoid dose is reduced to 5 mg of prednisolone equivalent, the patient may be switched to a shorter acting agent for further tapering. Generally, intermediate acting corticosteroids allow for more flexible dosing schedule because they have potent glucocorticoid effects, causes lesser suppression of HP axis, causes less gastrointestinal tract irritation, preferred for oral therapy. Examples like prednisolone, methylprednisolone and triamcinolone have a half-life of 12 to 36 hours, are available in a number of dosage forms. And this is the last slide of this lecture. Adrenocorticosteroid inhibitors. First, metirapone, which is a 11 beta hydroxylase enzyme inhibitor used in Cushing syndrome and for test of pituitary efficiency. Second is aminoglutathione, which stops conversion of cholesterol to pregnenolone, which is also known as medical adrenalectomy, used in breast cancers. Mifepristone, which is a progesterone antagonist. Spironolactone, as you learned earlier also, aldosterone antagonist. And ketoconazole, which inhibits synthesis of all hormones in testes and adrenal cortex, and used in Cushing syndrome and also in hirsutism in females. That is all about corticosteroids. Thank you all for your patient listening.